Welcome students. Today we are going to study class 7 history chapter 2 New Kings and Kingdom, and the subtopic is the Cholas. First of all, see this map. This is showing the Chola Empire, the Chola Kingdom and its neighbors, a major portion of present day South India. Now the first question that is coming to our mind is, how did the Chola rise to power? So, a minor chiefly family known as Muttarayar held power in the Kaveri Delta. They were subordinates to the Pallav kings of Kanchipuram. So, there was a minor chiefly family named Muttarayar, and they were having control over the Kaveri Delta, and they were working as subordinates or samantas to the Pallav king. I hope you remember what subordinates or samantas are. Then came Vijayalaya, who was belonging to Cholas, and he captured the delta from Muttarayar in the middle of the 19th century. He also built the town of Tanjavur and a temple for goddess Nisum Bhasudeni. So it was Vijayalaya who captured this Kaveri Delta from Muttarayars, and he also built the town of Tanjavur, as well as he also constructed a temple for goddess Nisum Vasudeni. The successors of Vijayalaya captured neighboring areas, and that's how the kingdom, the Chola kingdom, grew in size as well as in power. The Pandyans and the Pallava territories to the south and north were made part of this kingdom. This is the area of Pandyans and this is Pallavs. So these were also incorporated with the Chola Empire by his successors. Now let's move to the next page. Raja Raja 1. Please underline Raja Raja. Raja Raja 1 is considered the most powerful Chola ruler who became king in 985 and expanded control over most of this area. He also reorganized the administration of the empire. He reorganized the administrative system of the empire. Raja Raja's son Rajendra, please underline his name also, Raja Raja's son Rajendra I continued his policy and even raided the Ganga Valley, Sri Lanka and countries of the Southeast Asia, developing a navy for this expedition. Now, splendid temples and bronze sculptures. A big temple of Tanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram, built by Raja Raja and Rajendra, are architectural and sculpture marvels. See this temple. This is the temple of Gangaikonda Cholapuram. Notice the way in which the roof tapers. The roof tapers. The base is broad, but the roof is tapering. Also look at the elaborated stone sculptures used to decorate the outer wall. See this outer wall. Each and every portion is having some elaborated stone sculptures on it. Chola temples often became the nuclei of settlement which grew around them. Nuclei of settlement means the center of settlement. It means around one temple many settlement will grow up. So this is the temple or the nuclei of settlement or the center of settlement. These were center of craft production. Temples were also endowed with land by rulers as well as by others. We all know that kings and rulers used to give grant of land to the temples. Now We were speaking about bronze sculpture also. See this bronze sculpture. So we were studying that around the temple one settlement also used to grow up. So who were living in these settlements? So all the persons who were either working or living near the temples where we were making these settlements, and these were the priests, garland maker, cooks, musician, etc., etc. In other words, temples were not only places of worship, they were the hub of economic, social and cultural life as well. So in temples सिर्फ पूजा ही नहीं होता था, उसके आसपास इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी, सोशल एंड कल्चरल लाइफ भी डेवलप करते थे. Among the crafts associated with temples, the making of bronze image was the most distinctive. See this bronze image, this is so distinctly made. So Chola bronze images were considered among the finest in the world, right? While most images were of deities, sometimes images were made of devotees as well. So यहाँ पे जो उनके देवी देवता होते हैं उनका भी स्कल्पचर बनता था. एट द सेम टाइम जो डिवोटीज होते थे, बड़े बड़े डिवोटीज होते थे, उनका भी स्कल्पचर बनता था.